Let's try and do this one using the instant runoff system. I hope you all remember how to do the instant runoff system. What you do is you count up as if you were doing the plurality, and you do this in rounds. So I'm going to say round 1. I just count up as if I was doing plurality. So A, B, C. And this, you all did this on the quiz in the first question. A has 4, B has 2, and C has 3. I am counting just the appearances in the top position. And then we eliminate the candidate who has the fewest, which in this case is B. And then we recount the election considering only A and C. So I'm going to, this is not so hard to just look at this and sort of redo it in your head. But if you like, you can redraw the chart using only A and C. So this is for round 2. 4 people said A over C, then 2 people said C over A, then 1 person said C over A, then 2 people said C over A. What I did was I just rewrote this same chart again, only I omit all the B's and then kind of push everybody up to fill in the gaps. All right, and now this is round 2. I count again the votes in the top position. A now has 4, C has 5, and so C is the winner. And that's the end, all right? Remember, there's sort of two technicality rules, and actually I didn't even mention one of them last time because it almost never comes up. But you stop. In this example, we had to go sort of all the way down to the final round between 2 candidates. But you can stop early if anyone ever gets a majority in the first place. In this example, it didn't happen in the first round. You might say, like, doesn't A have the majority here? No, because you got to remember the word majority means more than 50%. It doesn't mean more than everybody else. It means more than 50%. And in this case, there are 9 voters, so a majority needs to be 5 in this example. So this is not a majority. We don't stop at this point. We actually do stop here because C has a majority, all right? In the second technicality rule, this one I did not mention last time, so you might want to make a note out of this. Also, I don't know if anybody ever thought about this. What about if you get ties in the intermediate rounds, all right? If you get a tie in one of the intermediate rounds, this is unlikely, but it can happen. First of all, it doesn't really matter if you get a tie for first in the intermediate rounds because you're always dropping the person in last anyway. So those ties don't matter. But if there's a tie for last, this matters. So I'm going to say also, if any round has a tie for last place, remember each round you're supposed to drop the person in last place, but it's possible you might get a tie in last place. How do you resolve that? You just drop them all right? Drop them both or them all. If there's, more than 2 people all tied in last place, you just drop all of them. All right? This is how you do it. Like I said, this almost never happens. I mean, it has to be some weird coincidence. And when you're doing this in a real world election, this really would never happen. But for some of our examples that we work through, we're going to see that. By some fluke, you get a tie in last place. If you get a tie in first place, it doesn't matter. You just throw out the losers and continue to the next round. All right? This is the instant runoff. Any questions about that? Like I said, this method is actually fairly popular in the real world. There are many places where they don't do plurality. They do this instead. And in America, a lot of people want to switch to this method. Okay. Excellent. I thought I want to give you guys a chance to try one of these. And wouldn't it be great? Let's try the instant runoff on our movies election. Do you still have that paper? I don't know if you do. If not, I can bring it up on the screen here. It was... This, I'm sure you remember, was kind of a big and nasty example, but I want to go through this. It's not an easy one, but this is likely the hardest one that you're ever going to do. So if we can do it, then you should feel great about doing any future examples. All right? Here's the chart from that handout, if you have it. If you don't have it. All right? I hope that's big enough to see. Maybe I'll big it up. Big up yourself. All right? We're going to do the rounds. Maybe I'll do the first round with everybody, and then I'll let you guys can work out the rest. I mean, round one is easy because you just have, as written, you basically are reading the plurality votes. F, H, I, and T. For F, I see all these columns in which F is on top. How many times is that? That's 3 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's 11, right? F is on top 11 times. The H is on top 9 times, right? 1 and 8 here. 9 times. Some of you said Ferris Bueller's Day Off on your favorite movies. That was a little Ferris Bueller reference. One person who wrote that on their paper might remember that line. A lady says 9 times, and it's really funny. I, how many times in the top is I? Right here, 3 and 1 and 2, that's 6. And then the T is at the end, 2 and 4 and 1, that's 7. All right? And we eliminate the biggest loser, which in this case is the 6. So the I is eliminated. Sorry to you 6 people who put I on top. All right? Now go to round 2. Here, I'd like you all to take over. Now, some people, when you're doing this, they like to just sort of, you can redraw the chart, which in this case is kind of a pain because it's such a giant chart. You can, if you're confident about yourself, you could just like scribble the I's out, right? And then recount everything. Unfortunately, that if you mess something up, you will have simultaneously ruined your chart on your paper. So I will leave it to you to be responsible about scribbling on the chart. I'm pretty sure I didn't mess it up yet. Get rid of the I's and then recount. I'm going to walk around and see how everybody's doing. I hope that this makes sense and you're doing all right. Okay.
Kind of. I have a question.
Okay,
So
good.
am I just counting how many times it's on, like, F is above it, or am I counting just, like, how many times it's on top?
How many times on top? Although in the later rounds, like for instance, this F in round 2 will count as being on top because the I has been eliminated.
Okay. So I'm just counting how many times F is on, like, the top row in comparison, and, like, how many times H is on top.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
But you have to take these numbers into account also, right?
So you just add them.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
So you don't go like 1, 2, 3, 4. You actually add those numbers.
So you just be like 3 plus 3 plus 4.
Yep.
Okay.
And then in round 2, you also add that because F is now on top of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You guys doing okay? Doing all right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. What are you doing for round 2? Yes, it is a little confusing. You should be counting like how many times that was on top. Yeah, that's
Like, it's here. Like,
okay.
it's down.
Good.
But it's on top now because I was on it. So yes.
So if the eyes on the right, this would go over to T, or is it just T?
Yeah, you imagine they're just totally gone.
It's above T, I think.
Like that first.
So it's basically
So that three with the eye on top, that one, the
and then
second
you're
round.
just kind of adding numbers together.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Okay.
All right, that was the second round. Okay. All right. Good. good? Everybody says they're doing great. I don't know if you're all done by now. I'm going to do it. This is a little annoying. I mean, like I said, this is sort of a giant example. In the future, you're never going to do another one this big. How many do I have for F? All these 4. So that's a 3 plus 4 plus 1. That's 11. Plus, additionally, this column, F is now on top now that the I has been eliminated. And so that's a total of 14 for F. And F is not on top on any of the other columns. So F has 14 in the second round. H has... H is on top in this column, plus these 2. So that's a 1, and an 8. So that's 10. I hope you got 10 votes for H in the second round. And then T in the second round is on top. I'm looking for whenever T is on top. That will be here, which is 2, plus these 3 columns at the end. So that's a 2, and a 2, and a 4, and a 1. That's 9, right? 9 times. I said it again. Okay, so who is eliminated in the second round? T is eliminated in the second round, right? And you can scribble out the T's now. Maybe I'll scribble them out. What? Unlock custom colors. I just got a new iPad yesterday, and I guess I already had the pro version of this app. I don't have the Pro anymore, I guess. I can only do red and black. I was going to scribble them out in a different color. Maybe I'll scribble out the T's in black, just so that it's a little clearer as we go one round to the next, all right? And now there's only F's and H's left, and we just count up the F's versus the H's. So this is round 3. How many times is the F on top? That's 3, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 3. And also this 2, and this 1. So that was 6, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Anybody agree? 19? No? Yes? Most people said yes. Some people said no. I go with the yes. And then H is everybody else, which is here, 1, 1, that's 2, that's 10, that's 14. Anybody agree? Yes. All right. So F is the winner. This is how we do the instant runoff. Any thoughts about that? If you thought this was a hard one, yeah, but this is about as hard as it's ever going to get. All right. Great. That's the instant runoff. We've only got 15 minutes remaining. I want to talk about another criterion for evaluating voting systems. So what we have discussed so far are the majority criterion and the Condorcet winner criterion. Remember, both of those have to do with saying the system should choose the winner if there is a really strong candidate. So the majority says if somebody's actually on top a majority of the times, that's strong enough, they should be the winner. And the Condorcet winner says if there's a Condorcet winner, then they should win the election. The next criterion that I want to talk about is actually a very different idea behind this. Another criterion. I'm still getting used to my new iPad. I don't have the case yet. I thought it was going to be the same size. It's like half a centimeter longer than the old one that I had. So all the old stuff that I have is no good anymore. By the way, I might as well offer, I don't see any of you using an iPad right now. I don't have it right now because I got this new one, but I had a film that you put on top. It's called Paper Feel. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It makes it, like the texture of it, feel like you're writing on paper. I love it. I got a 2-pack, and now I have one that I can't use because it's like very slightly smaller than this one. So if that sounds good to you. It was the 6th generation iPad. That's what size I had. I don't know. If you want it, let me know. You can have it. Another criterion is about imagining changing our votes, changing some votes. And specifically, it's about what would happen if I changed my mind in a way that increased somebody's ranking on my vote. All right? The basic idea here, and I'm going to give you a little demonstration. If I boost somebody's rankings, like if I had some vote in mind, but then I said, you know what, I'm gonna push Trump up on my rankings, right? I had him at the bottom, but I'm like, you know, I like his kids. I don't know. Let's put him up a little bit. The idea is, if I boost someone's rankings, this, if anything, should help that person win, right? It should make things a little bit better for them, or at least it shouldn't make it any worse. So I'm going to say, if I boost someone's rankings, this should be helpful to that candidate. Right? Certainly, I feel like any reasonable system ought to satisfy this kind of a property. Otherwise, it seems like this is sort of a common sense thing. Actually, though, we will see this is not automatically true for all the systems that we have discussed. Although it is true, for example, for the Borda. Just imagine if I had a certain vote in mind for the Borda, and let's say I had Trump on the bottom, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna give him a bone and move him up a little bit. Does that help or hurt Trump in the election? The answer is, it helps. Because, like specifically, if we were using the Borda, it's going to give Trump more points. So that helps, all right? This is the idea behind the criterion that I want to talk about today. It turns out, actually, the instant runoff system that a lot of people love in the real world actually does not obey this general principle. So it is possible in the instant runoff to boost somebody up on your ballot and have that actually hurt them in the results of the election. This is pretty crazy, but check this out. So here's a crazy example. This is an example in which you can actually think that you're helping your guy by moving them up, but actually you screw them in the end. Like, you moving them up actually causes them to lose the election. This is very strange, but it can actually happen. So here is an example. Let's say 5 people said ABC, 4 people say CBA, 3 people say BCA, and 1 person says BAC, all right? And I'm going to use the instant runoff system. Okay, so first of all, let's see what happens if you count these votes. And then I'm going to say, well, what if we change it in this way? See what happens if we change it. So with the votes, I'll say the original votes, which are the ones that I just wrote right there. With the original votes, I got to do the rounds, right? So round 1, I have A, B, and C. So A is up top 5 times, right? B is on the top, how many? Shout it out. 4, yeah. B is on top 4 times, because it's 3 from one column and then 1 from the other. And then C is also on top 4 times. All right? What do we do in this case for the elimination? Eliminate them both. Yeah, this is that technicality rule that I said before. If there's a tie for last place, you just eliminate them both. And actually, then we're done, right? There is no next round because there's only 1 candidate left. Eliminate them both and A wins, okay? With the exclamation mark. All right. What's crazy about this is I would like to consider, so with the votes as I wrote them, A is the winner. What if I change this one guy, BAC, that last vote on the end there, to ABC? All right. Now, A was the winner, and the change here has boosted A up all right? In a sensible system, A is just going to win even harder, right? Because I just moved A up. But actually, you will see that doesn't happen. So what if I change BAC to ABC? Let me just say, this change is a boost to A, right? And it dumps B down a little bit, and it moves A up a little bit. So we expect, since A was the original winner, we expect this change will just make A win even bigger. But actually, it doesn't happen. So this time, if I make that change, so really what I'm doing on the chart here is this last column, BAC, I'm changing to ABC. This person is just going to join this column. So my changed version will have 6 people in the first column, and it will not have that last column anymore. So the new votes look like, now I have 6 people saying ABC. That was the original 5 plus this other guy who just changed his mind. Then 4 people say CBA, and then 3 people say BCA. All right. What happens now when I do the instant runoff? In the round 1, I count up. A gets A, B, and C, right? A gets 6, B gets 3, and C gets 4. Because I made that change, it means that C is going to survive into the second round, right? Whereas before C was eliminated in the first round. So B is eliminated in round 1, and then round 2. If I consider now only A's and C's, A is up top here 6 times, and that's it. And C is on top of A, these other 2 columns, 4 and 3 is 7. And so C wins. All right. This should strike you as very weird. We had an election in which A was going to be the winner. Somebody changed their mind in a way which boosts A up in their rankings, and that actually caused A to lose. All right. This is pretty crazy. But it can happen. So we boosted the winner, right? The winner was A. We boosted them up on somebody's ballots, and this made them lose. From a theoretical point of view, this might cause you to be deeply skeptical of the instant runoff system. If this kind of thing can happen in an election, you should feel like that system is kind of crazy, or there's something very strange about this. It means that, like in this example, for instance, C can win the election by convincing people to raise A up. This is very weird. If you imagine a real-world scenario, it would be like one of the candidates actually tells people to vote for somebody else, and it makes them win by getting other people to change their mind to vote for somebody else. This is very strange. You don't really want that causes your politics to get all crazy if that's really going to happen, mathematically speaking. All right. So there's a name for this. We say that this is a bad thing to happen in a voting system. So we say the instant runoff voting fails what I'm going to call, this has a big and weird name, the monotonicity criterion. The monotonicity criterion, all right? That's what it's called. And the instant runoff fails to satisfy the monotonicity. That word monotonicity is like the noun form of monotone, which in a mathematical sense, the word monotone is used to describe sort of things going the same direction. When you usually say monotone about like somebody singing or speaking, it means like they are just saying the same thing over and over again, or something like that. In mathematics, we use the word monotone to mean things which don't change directions. They go the same direction. And the idea is, if you boost up one of your votes, that should only make it better for them, right? That's going the same direction. Whereas in the instant runoff, it doesn't happen. Sometimes you can boost somebody up, and it actually makes the election go worse for them. So anyway, let me just write the actual definition. of the monotonicity criterion, and then I think that'll do it for us. So we say a voting system satisfies the monotonicity criterion. Monotonicity criterion. If changing ballots to boost the winner never changes the outcome. And this is what you want to be true. If you run the election, you had a winner, and then you're like, no, I changed my mind, in a way which is favorable to the winner, the answer should be like, it doesn't matter, that doesn't change anything. It's like if, after the last election, Trump and Biden, let's say I voted for Trump, but then Biden won. And I'm like, no, I changed my mind. I want to vote for Biden. You would say, it doesn't matter, Biden already won. So if you start voting more for them, they're still going to win. All right? This is the monotonicity criterion. More on that next time. Hope you have a good weekend.